Guess who's getting her hair done? Little Miss Miriam, my 18-year-old daughter. We're getting some knotless jumbo box braids, which is a complete difference for Miriam. She is going to look so good. Look at that, y'all. And I'm going to show you 3 different methods to achieve this look. Okay, so we're going to start off with washed hair. So her hair is clean, it's dry, there's no product on it, it looks pretty dry. You can see her ends have some color in it, some old color. So I'm going to moisturize it, a little bit of water from a spray bottle, that's all water first, and then we comb it out. Her hair is naturally curly, she's got like a loose curl, but it tends to frizz up easily. So anyway, we're just going to comb it out. It's moisturized with the water, and then we're going to add some hair product to it. So while I was doing her hair, she was really into this Indian matchmaking program. We're not Indian, by the way. Anyway, so I've combed out her hair. It's looking well detangled, still a little dry, so it's definitely going to need some hair product on it, and I'll show you what I'm going to use. So we got the lovely Cream of Nature Pure Honey Twisting Cream. This stuff is like magic. I use it on my natural hair too, and it does really well for her. If I'm doing a twist out or something, or in this case, you know, about to braid it, it just adds a lot of moisture and also a little bit of shine. So I start off by parting her hair from the bottom. I always like to start at the bottom, going across the head. And as you see, I like to use this bamboo skewer. It just gives me a sharp parting. It reminds me of the Nigerian combs or African combs that are made out of wood. So yeah, I just kind of stumbled upon it and just thought, yeah, it works well with my thick hair too. So I'm also using this pomade or this, you know, grease by Carol's Daughter. It's great for dry skin, and Miriam has really bad eczema, which sometimes shows up on her scalp. So it just really helps moisturize her scalp and her hair and gives you a little bit of shine. So I really do like it, and I like the smell of it. It's always nice when the product has a nice scent. Okay, so this is a little bit kind of ahead. I was trying to figure out what version I was going to do in terms of how to do these jumbo knotless braids, and I knew there were different ways to do it, so I thought I would try first with a rubber band. And it's also a great way to show you that there are different ways to do this. I think the best method is what works well for you depending on your hair texture. So I used the rubber band, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to do her whole head with rubber bands. So I thought I would do a different version where I just braid the hair and then add some braiding hair to it, because I didn't want her hair to be all tangled or too tight with rubber bands. But certainly both are a good option depending on your hair texture. And as we go along, I'll kind of explain my logic. All right, so for now, we're just going to go ahead and part her hair. It's always easier with this style if you just go ahead and make the sections in advance. So just get your clear parts. In addition to a little bit of hair oil or hair grease, you might need some gel to help with the flyaways. And also adding a little bit of gel or a little bit of the grease helps you when you're parting the scalp. It just makes a cleaner finish. So as you can see, I smooth out the hair after combing it out and adding my product, and then I proceed to make some Bantu knots, because this will just keep me organized. So she's going to have a whole bunch of Bantu knots on her head, and it just makes it so much easier later when I'm starting to braid to already have the sections done. So it does take some patience. It does take a little bit of time. I'm going to be honest. You definitely want to do this when you are relaxed. You don't want to do someone's hair if you're irritated or short of time. Okay, here is our hair. I love this hair. It is pre-stretched. I bought 4 packs, but I actually ended up using less than 3 packs, and it was a great match. I love the ombre at the ends. So yeah, and what's great is that this hair is not expensive at all. It was quite inexpensive at my local beauty shop here in North Carolina. All right, so you're gonna part the hair in two, and each half you will part again in two. So at a minimum, you'll have 4 sections, but I actually ended up using or making at least 6 sections per bag, depending on how large I wanted the braids. So for example, in the back of her head, I wanted the braids a little bit smaller so that there wasn't, too much tension. And it just looks a little bit more natural when the braids aren't exactly the same size, in my opinion. Like around the edges, even when I'm doing smaller braids, I tend to make them smaller. All right, so for this first technique, I am literally just adding the braiding hair underneath a braid. So there's no rubber band here, there is no tools, it is literally just braiding hair added underneath her natural hair, and I just braid along firmly. So you want to hold the hair very firm or very taut. You might need to add some hair jam, or gel, or even maybe a little edge control just to keep the flyaways in check. So I'm just braiding all the way down, and to be honest, it's a lot easier than braiding a lot of small or tiny braids. Okay, so we're back to the portion that had the rubber band. So this is the second technique. Here we're going to use the crochet latch hook method, and we're going to basically drag a piece of hair. You don't want too big a piece and you don't want too small a piece. You just got to figure out the right amount that matches the thickness of the braid that you're looking for. So I drag it right underneath the rubber band. So basically the hair is going closer to her scalp. The rubber band is above that. Now, instead of putting one chunky piece of hair, you can put 2 smaller pieces of hair. So I just kind of push the crochet in a diagonal fashion, so it kind of crosses, crosses behind her kind of section of hair, or ponytail, if you will. And yes, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're joining us for the first time. I hope you enjoy these type of hair videos, because I'm going to try to get Miriam to do a lot more with me. And of course, I have natural hair now, so I'm going to be having a lot more fun. Okay, so once you crochet that hair in, you're going to go ahead and again firmly hold it and make sure you have 3 equal pieces. So her hair forms as one leg, and then the crochet hair forms as 2 other legs or 2 other pieces, and then the 3 pieces get braided down. So it's pretty simple, right? So you saw the first version, no tools, no rubber band, just hair added to her braided hair. And then the second method, I literally just crochet in some braiding hair, and you can see the results. Both of them look fairly similar. They're both flat and both still knotless braids. So I like them both, but to be honest, in her case, I decided I did not want to do the rubber band. And on the other hand, I was afraid that her hair being a little slippery, that the hair just added to a braid might just slip out later. And so the third version is basically almost a combination of the first 2. Again, with the first version you saw, I did not use a rubber band. The second version had a rubber band. So the third version, which is how I did her hair, or most of her hair, I literally just braided it. And then you will see I will use the crochet latch hook to, drag some hair through it. So again, I'm not using a rubber band, just a braid of her natural hair, and then dragging some braiding hair through it and creating a knotless jumbo braid. So it was pretty simple, to be honest. You just have to be careful, take your time, and while you're pulling the hair through, try not to get it all, tangled. So just be careful. So it slides easily as long as your braid isn't too tight. and you just want to smooth it out before you start braiding. So you just start braiding, and again, you may have to borrow some hair from one side if the pieces aren't, you know, completely even. So here I'm just trying to show you, I'm gonna finish the rest of the head. I'm speeding up the video, and in honesty, it took about 4 hours to finish the whole head. But of course, thanks to editing and YouTube, we will do this in a few minutes. Now also, you know, there are other methods to doing the whole knotless braids, but I think when you're doing jumbo braids and you don't want the hair to slip out, I think, in my opinion, this is like one of the best techniques to use. But certainly leave in the comments if you know another way to do it. And of course, you have to take in consideration the texture of her hair, because again, I didn't want it to slip out if I just added the braiding hair to her hair. I was afraid it would eventually slip, so that's why I'm using the crochet hook latch method, and it seems to work really well. So you see at the base, the braid still looks pretty flat, even though this is a fairly large braid or chunky braid. Now we're just going to finish braiding the ends, and she's still really into her Indian matchmaking show. Also, I'm adding some jam. Again, the jam or edge control or heavy gel is quite important because it gives you a crisp parting when you're, you know, parting the hair and making it look nice and smooth and a little bit shiny. So it just makes it look that much nicer. And you also may want to add a little bit to the edges, of course, or the hairline, and decide, do you want baby hair or not? I wasn't sure. I mean, her whole hairline looks like baby hair in my opinion. So try not to add too much hair when it comes to the front. I don't make the braids as large as the ones in the back or as the ones in the middle when it comes to the edges. I like when it just has a natural looking density, even though again, this is, you know, jumbo or larger braids than normal. So we're almost done. Can't wait for you guys to see the finished result. Well, I know you saw the finished result in the beginning, but you know. Okay, so here we go. All done. And now I just have to seal the ends. Look there, see? No heavy knots. Even when I lift it up. So I'm giving you a close-up so you get to see for yourself. It really does look good. And isn't that braiding hair a really nice match? That one has a hint of red. So I was almost done with 3 packs. I literally used like about 2.75 packs if I'm that specific. So now we're just gonna seal the ends with boiling hot water and then we'll be done. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you give us a big thumbs up, and I hope you'll come back soon. Let me know what other hairstyle you would like me to try on Mariam or even on myself. Bye. Thank you.